Hi, I am Sai Prashant Tadabala. Today we are going to discuss about sprint planning meeting in Agile Scrum model, in Agile Scrum process. Okay, so in previous session we covered up to kickoff meeting. We completed kickoff meeting and yeah, product backlog grooming meeting. These two were completed. Now we are going to discuss about sprint planning meeting. Okay, so yeah, 1 minute. In coming to sprint planning meeting, that first we have to observe what is the purpose of sprint planning meeting. Then after that, what is the time limit? What is the time limit? Then after that, we have to understand, we have to know who is going to select some user stories from all user stories, on what factors they are going to select some user stories. This is what we are going to discuss. And who involves in this scrum meeting, in sprint planning meeting, who involves in this sprint planning meeting. This we are going to know clearly in this sprint planning meeting. Before we are going to know about this, let us observe the flow diagram once. See here, in sprint planning meeting, you can observe clearly, PO, project or product owner, is going to select some user stories from all user stories with respect to stakeholder, scrum master and scrum team acceptance. Okay, what is the purpose of sprint planning meeting is to select some user stories from all user stories. As we know, user stories means requirements. Among all the requirements, PO is going to select some user stories. Who is going to select some user stories? Here, who we have to see. PO, project or product owner, is going to select some user stories from all user stories where he collected from customer. Okay, among those all user stories, first of all he is going to select some user stories. Okay, then what is the time limit here for the sprint planning meeting? What will be the time limit? The time limit is, here there is some time limit up to 3 to 4 hours. This time box is maintained by Scrum Master. Scrum Master maintains time box or time limit. Okay, so now next question is, what is the sprint duration? Sprint duration. Okay, the sprint duration will be, in general, it will be 30 days, whereas for some other companies it may changes based on contract between company and customer. It may changes, but in general it is, by default in general it is, that will be, sprint duration will be 30 days. In some companies it may vary, based on the contract between the company and the customer. Okay, clear? Okay, now let us see how, on what factors he is going to select some user stories. Okay, on what factors he is going to select some user stories? Based on the size based on the time, based on importance. Based on these three factors, he is going to select some user stories from all user stories. Size, time, importance. We can say priority also. We can say like this, priority also. Okay, based on these few factors, some of these factors, he is going to select some user stories from all user stories. Then who is going to select those? PO. PO is going to select some user stories from all user stories. Clear? Priority, and you can say availability also. Size or priority, both will be same. You can consider size, time, importance, and availability. Okay. Now, what is the reason why we need to partition? Means why we need to select some user stories from all user stories? Okay. Why? Now you will get a question why. Okay, you told collecting all user stories in product backlog grooming meetings. That what is the purpose? Why can't we go ahead with all the user stories? This is the question you may get in your mind. Yes, we can't go ahead with all the user stories. All user stories means we can say like, we can call it like an epic. All user stories means epic. So that's why we are going to select some user stories. So let us assume a small example. Okay, let me copy this. Yeah. Yeah. What factors? Yeah, this is the example here, you can observe. Okay. PO is going to select some user stories from all user stories. Let us assume like this. For suppose customer requirements were like this. His requirement is, customer requirement is, need to develop a website with, or else you can consider like this, you can consider an ATM machine. Customer requirement is initially, he told, okay, I want a login, registration, money transfer, mini statements, bills pay, log out. For internet banking, let us, best example is internet banking. For internet banking, we need to register. Registration module is required. Login module is required. To log in, to log out module is required. To check the balance, we require to have the mini statement module, and to do some transactions, or we require some bill pay. All this. So here you can see all these modules can't be developed in a single attempt. Means in a single sprint we can't develop a software in a single attempt, in a single sprint. In a 30 days you can't perform all this. In 30 days and in a sprint, in one sprint you can't develop this use. This is what I am telling. It is an epic. This is an epic. So login is one module, registration is one module, money transfer is one module, bills pay is one module. Like this, it is a modules. Some F mod up to A to F. All these are modules. So all these are user stories. In all these, I told in product backlog grooming, he is going to PO is going to collect requirements. PO is going to collect all the requirements as user stories from the customer. These are all the requirements. In these all requirements, in this sprint planning meeting, this PO is going to select some user stories based on its availability, its importance, size and time. So let us see. As I know, I hope you all guys are very familiar about these sizes. Size in the sense, example, this I am telling to let you understand you well with this example. For example, we know while we are purchasing, while we are doing shopping, there will be different sizes. For suppose you take for shirt, there will be some sizes: small, medium, large, XL, double XL. Means these are the sizes. Like that, if you see the requirements, login size is small, registration size is medium, whereas when you see the logout size is, it is also small, whereas money transfer size is XL. Mini statement is XL, bills payment is double XL. Means you can see the size, the complexity involved in that. Means login page we can develop in a less time, whereas when you compare to registration page, we can develop login page in less time. Registration take some more time. That's why I mentioned it as medium. Whereas if you take logout also it takes less time only. When you compare with logout registration, money transfer will take more time, and bill pay will take more time than the money transfer and mini statement. That's why this PO is going to prioritize. He is going to select some user stories. First of all, he selected registration page. For the current sprint, he is going to select registration module, login module, and logout module. These three modules have to be developed in the current sprint. Like this, he is going to select some user stories. And for the next sprint, they will concentrate on the next module. Next module means for next sprint they will select some money transfer and mini statement. Then for the second sprint, for the third sprint, he is going to select bills pay. Like this, he is going to select some user stories from all user stories. I hope you guys understood why we are going to select some user stories from all user stories. For sprint 1, see A, B, F, login, registration, logout. For sprint 2, he will select money transfer and mini statement. For sprint 3, he will select bills pay. Like this. Okay. Hope you guys understood well about this. What is the reason of selecting all user stories? I mean some user stories from all user stories. Epic means huge requirements. Okay. And one more example is easy example is, let us see. I hope you all guys have an idea about the Bahubali movie. The Bahubali movie can't be taken in a one module, means in a one movie, one part. That's why he developed that movie in two parts and releasing it in two parts. This is one of the example. Okay. Now let us see. Yeah. Now we understood the reason of selecting some user stories from all user stories in sprint planning meeting. Okay. Okay. Now the next question in this sprint planning meeting is, whoever going to be participate in the sprint planning meeting. Who? In this sprint planning meeting. Yeah, 1 minute. Let us go to the question. Yeah, PO is going to select some user stories. Means here PO is going to participate. He is going to select some user stories from all user stories with respect to stakeholder and scrum master and scrum team acceptance. Here we can observe who are the participants. PO is the participant, project or product owner. Stakeholder is the participant, scrum master is the participant. Scrum team comprises of both developers and testers. These two guys are participants in this sprint planning meeting. This is how about the sprint planning meeting, the purpose and the importance of the sprint planning meeting, prioritization. Okay. Now next we are going to